Today's video, we're going to share with you maybe a little secret on how to best keep indigenous birds. Because as you know, unlike the commercial birds, these birds need to be kept in the most natural way possible, so that at the end of it all, you get taste their meat and taste their eggs. And also, it's not even about just the meat and the eggs, but it's the experience of keeping these birds, the therapeutic part of it, and everything that goes with it. It's just enjoyable keeping these indigenous birds. So yeah, keeping these birds has a very special place in my heart because they remind me of my maternal grandmother. Every time I was small and I could visit her, the first thing when she sees me and says hi, she sends someone to go catch one of the chicken and they slaughter, and it's cooked in the most traditional way. And I just remember that taste up to now. So that's why I enjoy keeping these birds. So yeah, as we insist on naturality of these birds, there's something we've really learned that is very important for you if you're going to keep this kind of birds, for your meat and for your eggs. It's not a commercial. These are not commercial birds. Commercial birds are treated very differently. So the first thing we realize is that when these birds are when the chicken are born, are hatched, you need to keep them with their mother for as long as possible. Why is this important? It's because their mother shows them, especially when they go out to forage, their mother shows them what kind of vegetation to eat, what kind of worms to eat, how to do that. That's very important when they grow. And I'm saying this because in the last few months, we made a mistake here on the farm. We hatched almost 50 chicken chicks. We used a turkey to hatch them, and then we put them with the turkey for 3 or 4 weeks, and then we removed the turkey, and they stayed in the house up to around the age of three months. And then we let them out. But when they came out, they could not even eat anything. They were just waiting for us to give them food as we feed them normally and water. And so that was very difficult because it increases your cost of feeding, and also because these birds are supposed to be natural. They're supposed to go out and forage and eat insects and eat grass and eat leaves and all that. So the birds were very unhealthy. So it's very important, if you're doing this kind, if you are keeping this kind of birds, you let them stay with their mother as long as possible, and also you expose them to this kind of life that for foraging early enough. The other thing about keeping the birds in their natural habitat or in the natural way is that they don't lay eggs throughout the year. These birds are going to lay between 10 to about 20 or 25 eggs, and then after that they become broody. They want to lie on their eggs to hatch. So you don't force them. You don't force them by maybe giving them the other hormones or anything. Just let them feed normally, come into season, lay their eggs. If they want to lie on them, you can let them be. So yeah, just know that they don't lay eggs every day. So you don't need to do anything to push them. They lay eggs for a certain period of time, and they'll become brood and want to lay on them. Now the other thing is, not all these hens are going to be able to lie on the eggs and hatch. So how do you identify which birds are good or which ones can lay on their eggs properly? When they become broody, you can take, let's say, first the bird will stay in the laying nest for an extended period of time. So maybe it used to come and stay there for an hour and lay an egg. Now it's going to be there for 3 to 4 hours or sometimes the whole day. So that's an indication that it's ready to start laying on the eggs. The other thing is, when you give it eggs to lay on, for the first 2 or 3 days, it's going to be there for the whole day without even leaving. So if you see a bird that when you give it eggs to lay on and then it leaves after a few hours, I don't think it's ready to lay. So you have to be careful on that section. You have to make sure that the bird is ready to lay on the eggs by observing those two things. So that's another way of telling your bird is ready to lay on its eggs. You can see the sound it makes, and it's very defensive. It can even bite you when you try to touch the eggs. So once your bird is like that, then you can let it lay on the eggs. Yeah, so keeping it natural. The other thing is the aspect of feeding. when we started this farm, we used to buy commercial feeds and then let the birds forage, and then we gave them commercial feeds. But we've realized that keeps the cost of feeding high, and I don't think it's the right food for the birds. So now what we do is we make our own feeds. For now we are buying maize, and then we also are buying something, small prawns, they're called ochonga locally. I don't know how to call it in their language, but they're called ochonga. We do about 70 to 30%. We mix that. We've not figured out the vitamin part. We're still looking for either cottonseed cake or something else. But since the birds are out almost for 6-7 hours in a day, they get vitamins out there because they eat a lot of vegetation outside there. So that's where we are. But that aspect alone of making our own food has saved us 50%. We're spending 50% less on cost of feeding. Plus, of course, they're out here foraging the whole day. This is important for this breed of birds. They need to forage. They need to be out here. They need to be free. They need to play. They need to exercise and everything. So that's another way of keeping it natural for them. Another important characteristic of the indigenous birds, or I think in America they call the heritage birds, they come in a variety of colors. I'm sure you've been to a farm or you've seen something online of chicken looking the same color and the same features. These ones are very different. Even their feet, how their feet look, the color of their feathers, their beaks, they are all different. So that's indigenous birds for you. They have different characteristics and different, very interesting colors. And again, this kind of birds, they want somewhere spacious. You can see from the house, it's very big, and there's a lot of space inside there. And then you can see we have also put where they can patch. These are birds, remember, they need to patch. So patching is one of the natural ways that the birds express themselves. So there are spaces here, and there are places that high up where they can patch, so they can be as natural as possible. Yes, so freedom is very important too. It's a natural need for these birds. You can see they need to go, like dust birds are very important for them. That's how they clean themselves. And you can see they're out, they're free, they're playing, they are foraging around, they're having dust baths to clean themselves. And when they come back in the evening, they're going to be ready for a good night. Yeah, a balanced diet is very important for these birds too. As much as they're foraging out there, you need to give them a little food. Like us, we make our own food, but we have to give a little food in the morning and the evening, so that at the end of the day, any bird that is not satisfied is going to be satisfied inside here. And a balanced diet is very important in that matter. And as I told you, we mix maize with small prawns. I don't know what they're called in your language. You call them ochonga here, but that's what you mix in the ratio about 70-30%. And you're also figuring out vitamins going forward. So this is very important for the birds, and they love the food. And actually, they've added weight. At some point, I'm going to show you how heavy the chicken are and how big the eggs they are laying nowadays. These chicken have been out now for several hours, I think 6 or 7 hours. And you can see, I don't know what to call it, the tummy, it's full. You can see it's full of food. And you can see this chicken must be over 1 kg, maybe close to 2 kgs actually. See the size of the thigh, it's quite big. So this kind of freedom that we give the birds, and the natural way in which we let them just grow naturally, it's actually working. So it's taken us a few years to figure this out, but you can see now the birds are doing very well. And I actually want to show you an egg, the size of the eggs that we're getting now. Let me do that. So yeah, I want to also show you that at this point now we've achieved consistency of the eggs, both in size and I think quality. And you can see, let me show you. You can see the eggs are almost the same size, and they're actually quite big, and like they used to be, and it's consistent. Most of them will be this size, except the ones that are laying for the first time, that the eggs are a little smaller. But this shows they're feeding well, and that they're getting satisfied with the balanced diet. The interesting thing with these eggs is that I don't know if it's true or it's a rumor that I heard. The commercial feeds, they put something inside that makes the yolk to be yellow. But this one's the yolk is very yellow, very consistently yellow, and we don't put any anything to activate that. These are just natural indigenous eggs. Indigenous eggs from indigenous chicken with very yellow yolk and very sweet. The eggs are very sweet. And just to mention, we currently have a number of chicken. I think, let me just confirm, those are just eggs. We have a number of chicken laying in these nests. I think I showed you something earlier, but you have one chicken with guinea fowl eggs and two chicken with about 12 eggs each for chicks that we expect in the next 20 or so days. Yeah. So that's a typical day at the farm, and how we keep the birds as natural as possible. And these birds love to be kept like this. And I think it's ethical to do this, because the birds live a good life. They are free and they eat whatever they want, and they also provide them with a good diet. And at the end of it all, as a person, you get quality meat, very tasty, and you also get quality eggs, very tasty. So this another experience maybe I need to remind why I personally enjoy doing this is that growing up, when you're very young, the eggs, these birds are the birds that we grew up with. Their parents used to keep under grandparents, and the eggs used to be a currency. We didn't have cash at all. So when you go to the shop, you used to go with these eggs and you're given something else for it. So this is a very special experience for me personally. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment on the comment section. Let us know what you planned or what you'd like to know, or any other suggestion you might have, and also share with your friends.